When I first saw this title, I was like, oh, Blaire White is finally turning to our side, but then, alas, not the case.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So the title of this video, yeah, we know, water's wet, but I actually am going to be ranting in this video. This is something I am super passionate about. This video is going to be in regards to the huge fiasco between J.K. Rowling and the trans community. I'm putting that in quotation marks for a specific reason. I'll tell you why in a second. I wasn't originally going to do a video.
Oh no, guys. Oh the fuck no.
This topic, but I am seeing a whole lot of BS on social media right now, and I feel like, damn it, let me just weigh in. And there's some things I need to get off of my chest. Not these though, they're too expensive. Now this huge fiasco that is officially labeled J.K. Rowling as transphobic stemmed from these 3 tweets by Rowling. And I'm just gonna go ahead and state my opinion before I even read these tweets. I, as a trans woman, did not find these offensive or transphobic at all. Literally at all.
Because Blaire White is also a transphobe?
If you're of the opinion that J.K. Rowling is transphobic or these tweets are transphobic, I asked you just for a second to really analyze them with me because I, as a trans woman, cannot find the transphobia. So these tweets read as, if sex isn't real, there's no same-sex attraction. If sex isn't real, the lived reality of women globally is erased. I know and love trans people, but erasing the concept of sex removes the ability of many to meaningfully discuss their lives. It isn't hate to speak the truth.
Okay, so the problem here is nobody is saying sex isn't real, first of all. Sex is a social construct. Nobody says it's not real. Something can be real and be a social construct. Social constructs exist insofar as they affect us socially. That's why they're social. Saying that if sex isn't real, there's no same-sex attraction makes 0 sense because, like, homosexuality isn't just same-sex attraction. It's not, like, based on sex. It's just, like, a man, for example, like someone who identifies as a man, or you might as well just say a man, because that's gender, having sex with or being attracted to another man, like, it's not sex, it's gender. The lived reality of women globally is erased. J.K. Rowling is erasing the lived reality of trans women globally with her statements. And then the 2 defenses. It isn't hate to speak the truth, and I have trans friends. Which is fucking... You could make the same argument as a racist. A fucking race realist. And erasing the concept of sex doesn't remove the ability of many to meaningfully discuss their lives. Just fucking figure out how things actually work and discuss them accordingly.
So far, I'm not seeing any transphobia. This is all true. Biological sex is real. I know that there are certain segments of the population that do not believe that biological sex is real. I know that there is a very harsh stereotype on the trans community that we are science deniers and that we don't believe in biological sex. I am biologically male.
Nobody denies the fact that, like, this construct of sex is a thing. The disagreement is whether or not it's a construct. Or some preordained natural phenomenon and not a thing that humans made up in our heads. Spoiler alert, it's just a thing that humans made up in our heads.
That's just a fact.
To categorize and understand the world.
I'm a trans woman. If you are a trans man, you are biologically female. That's kind of the whole point.
No, it isn't. It's not the whole point. I would say your gender matters more than your sex in terms of being transgender, Blaire.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if there was no starting...
Also, having tits isn't very biologically male, now is it? Like...
point, which was being biologically male. Why would I ever need to transition? Anyways, the idea that women like me, who've been empathetic to trans people for decades, feeling kinship because they're vulnerable in the same way as women, i.e. to male violence, hate trans people because they think sex is real and have lived consequences, is nonsense.
This is turf defense, though, right? they think sex is real and has lived consequences, like TERFs, for example. Empathetic to trans people. It's not about being empathetic to them. It's about being against transphobia, J.K. Rowling. Women are not more oppressed, or cis women are not more oppressed because they have wombs. A woman's oppression does not stem from the fact that she has a womb. It stems from the fact that they're women.
And I completely agree. What she's basically communicating here is that, like, yes, there are definitely similarities between the struggle of trans women and women in general, I suppose. There's definitely parallels, but it's not wrong to make distinctions where there may be differences. I, as a trans woman, have no idea what it's like to grow up and, have your period, or to be socialized as a girl, as a child. That's just not part of my experience, and I can't pretend that it was. The world did not start recognizing me as a woman until I was 20 years old when I transitioned.
None of that has to do with your biological sex, though. Before you knew you were trans,
that's 20 years.
I don't even know what the fuck she's talking about this for. That has nothing to do with what J.K. Rowling said at all.
Experiences that I cannot relate to because I did not grow up a girl.
Yeah, but now you are one. This is why intersectionality is a thing. Obviously, the fucking experience of a trans woman is different from the experience of a fucking cis woman. Dumbass. No one disagrees with that.
I exactly is it transphobic to say that? She continues to say, I respect...
That's not what she's saying, you obfuscating cunt.
A trans person's right to live any way that feels authentic and comfortable
God,
to them.
I get mad when bigots. I get mad.
I'd march with you if you were discriminated against on the basis of being trans.
Whoa.
At the same time, my life has been shaped by being female. I do not believe it's hateful to say so.
Okay, so this is where we really get down to the yep, she's a TERF. I respect every trans person's right to live any way that feels authentic and comfortable to them. Okay, the only people who disagree with this are full-on neo-Nazis and fascists, which you can still be transphobic and not be a fascist. I'd march with you if you were discriminated against on the basis of being trans. We are discriminated against on the basis of being trans. We are. At the same time, my life has been shaped by being female. What's the difference between being trans and female? If you're a trans woman, you're a woman. Why are you conflating sex and gender like this?
100%. So what I'm confused about, and here's the biggest thing, you guys, go look for yourself. In the thread and all the replies to J.K. Rowling, it is almost exclusively trans people agreeing with her and non-trans people wanting to play Captain Save-A-Ho, White Knight, and be offended on our behalf.
I really want to know what she means by non-trans people, because if she's about to do the thing that these fucking types of people do, where they say, oh, this group of people who are trans aren't trans because of my own arbitrary narcissistic category that only I can be trans, is fucking... If that's what we're going into, then I'm gonna roast the shit out of Blaire White.
Despite the stereotype of trans people being science deniers, I don't know any trans women or men who deny that biological sex is a thing, that they are biologically a sex that is different from the way they present and are represented to the world. That's the whole point. I do know, however, a whole lot of trans allies.
This dumb shit is really annoying.
Who feel the opposite on behalf of us and think that's the right thing to do. George Takei is a really good example, attacking J.K. Rowling, saying, when you defend so-called biological sex, you sound scientifically ignorant and you elevate transphobia. How? When did...
Because there's a difference between biological sex and gender. And that's the scientific consensus.
That transgender people are valid mean denying science. How is the concept of biological sex ignorant. What are you talking about? The funniest part to me is that trans people do not agree with this. Mars, a prominent trans guy YouTuber, said, do us transsexuals a favor and sit this one out.
This guy hates himself.
You're embarrassing not only yourself.
Us transsexuals. The only people who use the term transsexual anymore are TERFs and trans medicalists.
Us too. That was in response to George Takei. You have Buck Angel, who responded and got way more likes than George, by the way, saying, I disagree with you. I am a transsexual man. Transitioned from a woman to man 25 years ago. I am and will forever be a biological female. How is this so hard to understand? If I was not
I think all these people are wrong when they say that I will forever be biologically this. It's like, or not, because look at you. Your biology is pretty masculine, dude. And Blaire's biology is pretty fucking feminine as well. Like, I don't... It's not really dangerous to discount biology when it comes to fucking our society beyond fucking... Like, the only people who should care about biology when it comes to, like, just being in society are doctors. That's the only person who needs to know any of this shit. Gender is sociocultural.
biological female,
Your chromosomes and all that bullshit have nothing to do with your gender.
then I would not be transsexual. It's dangerous to discount biology. 100%. Why are you fighting this fight on our behalf and furthering and perpetuating this stereotype?
Blaire, I'm trans and I disagree with you. You're stupid.
We are science deniers. Y'all can choose to deny science, but don't do it on our behalf.
We're
You know,
not
there's this
denying
stereotype
science.
that
You're denying science. You don't agree with the scientific consensus.
trans people just can't handle anything, that we're just so emotionally weak and we deny science and, you know, we're just perpetual victims. Honestly, I don't even think we did that. I don't even think we created that stereotype, because all the trans people I know are some of the strongest people I've ever met. They're people that have gone through a lot.
Yeah, we all have to go through a lot. We're sick of that.
People who have fought really hard to be themselves, and they're not offended by the concept of biological sex. They don't, you know,
I'm not offended by it.
faint over people talking about biology. However, a lot of trans allies and celebrities who like to fight for us without ever asking us how we feel love to be offended by it. And you know, the narrative is that J.K. Rowling is just so hateful for talking about this and just such a hater and so bigoted. And then you have responses like this one from Ben O'Keefe responding saying, "This woman is complete scum. Shut the fuck up, you transphobic fuck. You don't know or love any trans people if you won't even acknowledge their existence. Thank you for ruining the books of my childhood. Just stop talking. We know you're a TERF. You don't need to keep doing this." When did she deny
Honestly, yeah.
trans people's existence because she has a different opinion about the existence of trans people? An opinion that trans people, for the most part, hold.
If you don't think a trans woman is a woman, then you're denying their existence. You're denying their lived experience, the way that they experience their existence.
You're the odd man out, Ben O'Keefe. Shut the up yourself. I just don't know how people can convince themselves that they are the good guys, that they're on the righteous side, that they're the ones really, like, that are positive, when they're responding saying, "Shut the up, you transphobic cunt." Honestly, I feel like more and more of the world is like, even more so than divided into left and right, conservative and liberal, the world is definitely right now divided into people.
Left and right and conservative and liberal are not the same thing. You can only be an idiot if you think that left is liberal. I am to the left of a liberal because I'm a literal fucking communist, okay? Liberals are right wing.
Who can have a meaningful, nuanced conversation about sensitive issues, and people who can't. That's it. That's the division I see these days. And listen, I'm not going to say that all trans people believe in the concept of biological sex and that there's no science denying trans people, because that's clearly not true. Clearly there are trans people who do feel that way. However, it's clearly not any type of consensus if underneath all these tweets of people calling J.K. Rowling transphobic are full of trans people disagreeing. So why is it that all these woke trans allies...
That's not how
have
transphobia works. You can agree with her and you're still a transphobe and you're trans. You're not immune from bigotry because you belong to the group that you're committing bigotry against, Blaire. That's not how bigotry works.
themselves
That's fucking identity politics from somebody who claims to hate identity politics.
that they know the one true narrative of being trans and they're going to defend it even at the expense of trans people who are saying, no, that's not actually the truth. Y'all are clowns.
You're a clown. You don't understand yourself.
Period. And then you have this tweet, which I found from one of J.K. Rowling's friends who is trans, saying, I have to say this. J.K. Rowling is one of the most supportive people I've ever met with regards to individual choices to be whoever they want to be.
I don't care about the individual rights defense. I don't care about the live and let live argument. I care about people understanding the way that we are and we work. For real.
Be on the chopping block as anti-trans is absolute nonsense. Give her a break. So does this trans person who is a friend of J.K. Rowling, does this person's voice matter, or does George Takei and all the woke allies matter? Which is it? The truth is there absolutely is a nuanced conversation to be had about the fact that, yes, there are lots of parallels between trans women and biological women. It's not like I'd be in a room full of biological women.
Yeah, such as the fact that they're both women.
Have nothing in common with them, or be even the odd man out, like, no pun, I swear to God, no pun. Because the truth is I would be much more at home in a room full of women than I ever would a room full of men.
How the fuck does she make jokes about herself being a man and like not understand when people call her self-hating? Like, she doesn't get gender. She doesn't even get that she's fully a woman. It's like kind of sad.
Obviously. However, there is room for intelligent, reasonable people to have a nuanced conversation about how there are clearly differences too. There are clearly issues that biological women face that trans women will never face, and vice versa. And if we can't have that conversation like rational, mature adults without throwing out words like transphobia, you're a hater, you're a what is wrong with you guys? And this just jumped to label.
What is wrong with you, Blaire White? What is wrong with you?
Any nuanced opinion about transgenderism as transphobic creates way more backlash towards trans people than I think people realize. The conversation gets very muddied because people who are on the outside looking in at this whole fiasco happening, they really do think trans people are turning on J.K. Rowling and don't like J.K. Rowling anymore because...
And here is Blaire White doing the bad trans people thing. It's your fault that transphobia exists, not the literal transphobes. Blaire White's her whole point behind this video is literally trans people fighting transphobia are the reason transphobia exists, not actual transphobes like J.K. Rowling. Like, what the fuck?
They think J.K. Rowling is transphobic. But I want you guys, next time you hear someone talking about how transphobic someone is, please pay attention to who is saying it. I promise you. I promise. 90% of the time, it's not even a trans person saying it.
And she's just getting people to agree on the identity politics nonsense. Guys, we have to fucking untangle this knot of people thinking that they're like doing something good with this fucking bullshit understanding of reality of minorities. Like, honestly, it's so frustrating.
Because like I said, trans people go through hell to be who they are. Trans people have faced
yeah, so stop contributing to that.
adversity. I've gone through a lot.
And making excuses for that and blaming them for that.
I don't know why this narrative is that I have never experienced transphobia, because I don't know. I don't know why. Why do people say that I don't experience transphobia or I can't relate to that? I have half my family who's disowned me for being trans. I think I know what transphobia looks like. And try as I might, and as many people are in my ear trying to tell me that J.K. Rowling was transphobic in these tweets, I'm not seeing it as a trans woman. And that's my genuine opinion. Whew, that was heated. Subscribe to this channel if you have not. I know you're going to watch 4 or 5 more videos. I know you
No, we're
already
not.
watched.
We're actually not, and I don't give a shit about your self-promotion. Shitty fucking trans people like Blaire, dude. Like, shitty for the community, I mean. Are, like... It's literally like the one good trans person, the one good trans. They just throw the whole movement under the bus for individual elevation, and it's fucking sickening. It's fucking so bad. Blaire White is over here sucking up to TERFs And I'm over here calling her out. Like, honestly, which side, the left or the right, who do you think is really with the community when you compare us? Like honestly, like, come on.